It was the fall of 1997, and I was working at a brokerage firm on Wall Street. Around 4:30 p.m. after the market closed, I got a call from an older friend who was, at that time, a partner at a boutique investment firm on Water Street. "Hey, what's going on, bro?"
Nothing much, Jay. Another crappy market today.
"Tell me about it. So, what can I do for you?"
Come on out to Koreatown for dinner tonight. I'm buying.
"You know I don't like going to Midtown."
I'm bringing a girl tonight.
"Whoa, for real? I'll be there then."
Meet me at 5:30 p.m. I'll pay for parking too.
"Okay then. I'm not drinking, just so you know." It was obvious that driving from Wall Street to Koreatown at that time of day would be more of a nightmare than a chance to enjoy Manhattan's autumn streets. Taking the FDR would be a gamble. If there was a broken down car or an accident, all three lanes would be blocked. And heading through the middle of Manhattan meant I'd inevitably be crawling along like a turtle in the evening rush hour traffic. In the end, I took the subway. I figured I'd just leave the car in the parking lot and take the subway back down after dinner to head home. My colleague usually kept dinner short and enjoyed going out for drinks afterward, and since I don't drink at all, I figured my schedule would allow me to return to the office afterward. That said, it wasn't as if I was just going to eat dinner and then dump him there. He tended to have different people for dinner and different people for drinks, so I knew that even if I left him there, he would soon call up other friends. My destination was Herald Square. Koreatown is located near the intersection of 34th Street and Broadway. After getting off the subway, I walked about 3 blocks toward Koreatown. It was early November, and since it was fall, it was getting dark early. The streets were quite bustling with people heading to Macy's nearby for shopping, others heading home from work, and a growing number of people making their way to Koreatown. The streets reminded me of my college days in the early 90s, when I used to have dinner with a textile major from the nearby Fashion Institute of Technology, and we'd look through each other's portfolios together. Just like art students tend to do, even though our conversation that day wasn't particularly deep, we stayed at a restaurant. So simple, it was almost shabby, talking about this and that until nearly 11 p.m. As I wonder how that friend is doing now. I recalled myself from just 3 years ago, when I was double majoring in fine arts and economics and agonizing over which degree, the art degree or the economics degree, I should pursue after graduation. In the end, even though I had double majored, I gave up on an art career and chose a path in finance. I had no regrets at the time, but whenever I visited friends who were artists or museums or the large and small galleries in Soho, I could feel a deep, lingering attachment still lingering in my heart. We arrived at Koreatown about 10 minutes later. To locals, Koreatown in the late 1990s felt quite out of place. At the time, a large restaurant called Gangseo Hall stood at the entrance to Koreatown, and a Korean-owned bank branch was located right below it. Back then, this restaurant was a popular spot not only for Koreans, but also for locals. In my personal opinion, while locals knew how to enjoy this restaurant, they rarely ventured past it to the many other Korean restaurants and shops, both large and small, lined up throughout Koreatown. I suspect that Gangseo Hall's familiar layout and appearance, along with its worth-trying menu, represented the limits of what locals were comfortable with at the time. In fact, Korean food culture was quite unfamiliar to locals in the 1990s. I remember a scene from the mid-90s when I was having lunch with my family at Gangseo Hall. A group of white customers sitting 3 tables away were shocked and angry when they saw a server reaching for scissors to cut the cold noodles and meat they had ordered, and they complained to the restaurant manager. To that extent back then, Korean culture seemed to be an experience that required a certain mental preparation for locals, even if it didn't quite reach the point of aversion or alienation. I walked past Gangseo Hall and entered the restaurant where I had made plans with my buddy. Located on the 2nd floor, this restaurant had a large screen hanging on the wall and was equipped with quite a good sound system. Korean pop music videos and songs were playing, and as I stepped inside, I somehow felt as if I were a character in a romantic Korean drama. When I looked in the direction of the voice calling my name, I saw that older guy sitting at a window seat overlooking Koreatown, and next to him was a woman. She was of Korean descent, or Korean, and she looked to be around my age, in her mid to late 20s. I exchanged a brief greeting with my friend and naturally greeted the woman sitting next to him in Korean with a somewhat cheerful, "Hello!" But the woman, who had been staring out the window, gave me only a slight nod without even glancing my way. Is this how you greet someone you've just met? Is it some recent trend? Is she a second-generation Korean American? An international student? What's going on here? These thoughts kept running through my mind. Seeing the look on my face, my friend seemed flustered too and started making small talk to lighten the mood. Since she might have been a friend or girlfriend of my buddy, I didn't let it bother me and sat down in the seat in front of them. That's how strange our first encounter was.